It is Friday. The weekend is here. Jason and Alicia here with you. You may want to bring out one of these this weekend. You may need it.
Little tiny fan. You're going to need something more powerful than this, though, John.
Probably a little bit more powerful. Yeah. It's
Nah,
effective, though.
You need somebody there all night, just making sure Jason can sleep good at night. 72 degrees. It is a beautiful day. The humidity is still climbing, and that is the big forecast change here. We're going to see the dew point go into the land, which is 70. 60 to 70 is like, okay, and then terrible. So 70 happens this weekend, so that's why you got to stay really hydrated because it's going to feel so soupy outside. 63 degrees, the last thing I want is soup at this time of the year. All right, so we are looking at quiet conditions, but that's going to change too. So with that really high moisture, it also is going to bring storms. Now, these are way up in Winnipeg and Saskatoon right now, but we're going to have to track them coming in here for the weekend. We'll track them in a bit.
Let's give you a look at the roads. It's quiet out there. No crashes to report. Here's a live look. 94 at Highway 95, just past the bridge. If you're coming over from Hudson, Wisconsin into Minnesota, it's looking good. Again, no crashes. We do have a weekend closure. I've been reminding folks of 36 westbound will be closed in the Little Canada area. I'll have more details on that closure coming up.
Turning into our top story here at 6 a.m. As John mentioned, the heat is rising this weekend, meaning many of you will be heading out to those lakes and rivers.
That's right, but our recent rain is bringing a warning from those that patrol the water. Audrey Russo is joining us live from Lake Minnetonka with what you need to know. Hey, Audrey.
Hey, Jason, Alicia, that's right. We're expecting pretty much the first hot summer-like weekend of the season so far. And out here on Lake Minnetonka, I will say you can see the water level is pretty high when compared to the dock. And for my first dip in a Minnesota lake, I will say the water is very warm. It's pretty comfortable, so it's going to inspire a lot of people to get out on their boats, out on the water, and in swimming and just enjoying summer. And because of that, this is really what the Hennepin County Water Patrol is bracing for. Now, they tell us that so far this season, because of all the rain we've had, they really haven't had a ton of emergencies or drowning incidents on lakes because people are pretty much staying off of them. The Hennepin County Sheriff's Water Patrol, of course, does search and rescue missions, but they also do water safety education. They inspect boats, they remove hazards from waterways. Now, don't get me wrong, just because they have not had a lot of issues on lakes doesn't mean they haven't been busy. Take a listen.
They are extremely high this year, and I would say 90% of them are on the river, where normally it's 90% of them on the lakes. And it's because of that high water and all that rain.
Talking about, of course, those emergency calls that they get. Now, he said that rivers are not safe at this point. He said it about 5 times during the interview that because of all the consistent rain we've had for the last month or so, the river levels are still very high and they are not safe for recreational swimming, kayaking, canoeing. So he's just asking everybody to avoid them. Coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have a little bit more information breaking down the numbers of drowning incidents and emergencies that they've had to respond to. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Audrey, thank you. And this morning we are learning more about the 17-year-old that drowned at Quarry Park just outside of St. Cloud earlier this week. Deputies say Emmanuel Seward Jr. jumped from a 10-foot cliff and never resurfaced. He was a high school student in Brooklyn Center. His baseball team sharing this picture saying they will always remember E-Man with that smile on his face and the energy he brings anywhere he goes. This is the 3rd death at the popular swimming spot since 2021. 6:04, switching gears now to the 2024 election and what's been a critical week for President Joe Biden's campaign. He remains defiant.
He reaffirmed in a major press conference that he is staying in the race, but the effort to salvage his re-election bid saw more blunders just 12 hours ago. And so far, it hasn't quieted calls within his own party for him to step aside. Michelle Beck is in the newsroom with the takeaways here. Michelle, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you guys. The main point is this. The president defended his fitness for office, citing his record as proof of his cognitive abilities. But this high-stakes press conference, his first since last month's debate debacle, had some flubs of its own. He referred to Vice President Harris as Donald Trump, after earlier in the day he called Ukraine's President Zelensky President Putin. Now, it's not enemies, but a growing number of allies expressing their concerns, at least 24 of them by CNN's count, who anonymously said none of them previously had seen the version of Biden that was at the debate. And according to CBS News, 16 House Democrats and 1 Senate Democrat have directly said the president should drop out of the race.
The idea that senators and congressmen running for office worry about the ticket is not unusual. And I might add, there are at least 5 presidents running or incumbent presidents who had lower numbers than I have now.
So guys, a question moving forward is how Republicans will strategize around Biden's performance right now. In about 72 hours, they'll start their national convention in Milwaukee. We'll talk more about possible strategy in 30 minutes.
We will talk to you then, Michelle. Thank you very much. And then coming up this Monday night, Lester Holt is sitting down one-on-one with President Biden. You can catch a preview of their conversation during nightly news. And then the full unedited interview airs in a primetime special at 8 p.m. That's Monday right here on KARE 11.
Right now, search efforts are ramping up for a missing Dakota County woman. It's been nearly a week since 56-year-old Nikki Anderson walked out her front door, down the driveway of her Randolph Township home, and disappeared. Her boyfriend is in custody, but the Dakota County Sheriff now says it's for a felony warrant out of LeSueur County, not for her disappearance. The sheriff says the man turned himself in and is cooperating, and that they didn't find any evidence Anderson was there at his home. Now the sheriff's office is asking anyone nearby to check their security cameras, focusing in on Saturday morning.
We have new details this morning about a deadly police shooting in North Branch. The police department released body cam video from the night an officer shot and killed Jamie Crabtree. In the moments leading up to the shooting on June 27th, Crabtree can be heard saying, "I don't want to live." For over 12 minutes, officers tell the 36-year-old to roll away from the gun so they can help her. The BCA says squad car cameras show her pointing an object at officers before they open fire. Investigators recovered a handgun, a gun case, and a rifle cartridge from the scene. Right now, the incident is still under investigation and the officers are on leave. Now, we want to let you know, if you are experiencing a mental health crisis, you're encouraged to call 988.
We're also learning new details this morning about a cold case dating back nearly 45 years. Investigators in St. Cloud have solved part of the mystery. Now, back in 1980, 2 women going for a walk found a baby dead in a ditch. It wasn't until 2020 when advances in new DNA technology helped investigators build a profile from the baby's original autopsy. Eventually, they matched it to a woman who the Stearns County Sheriff said had also long been dead. Just last month, though, they found the baby's father living in town, but through several interviews, they determined that he never had any idea about the baby.
There's a little bit of open-endedness because it's maybe not the conclusion that we normally see or want to see in law enforcement, but yet it's a conclusion nonetheless.
The part that's still a mystery and something investigators say they cannot prove is how the baby died and whether anyone committed a crime related to her death, forcing the sheriff to now officially close the case.
In other headlines this morning, AstraZeneca Pharmaceuticals is suing Minnesota over a new law lowering drug prices. The lawsuit claims a new state statute lowering drug prices for certain stores goes beyond the scope of the federal program, doing the same thing but for fewer stores. Drug maker AbbVie is suing Minnesota for the same reason.
Well, as it heats up into the weekend here in Minnesota, Xcel Energy is sharing some tips to help keep your energy bill low. So here are 5 things they say you can do. Turn on ceiling fans to help circulate cool air. Open interior doors to improve circulation. Change AC filters regularly. Raise the thermostat temperature a few degrees when the house is empty. And close drapes and blinds during the heat of